Just to all the class 11 students. So in our last session, we have discussed the meaning of the Constitution, functions of the Constitution, and authority of the Constitution. All right. And throughout the last session, I kept giving you an example about the Indian Constitution as one of the finest example of the best Constitution, and why it is considered as one of the best Constitution in the world. Right. So today we will going to discuss a new topic which is still related with the Indian Constitution. And in this topic, we will going to discuss how the fine Indian Constitution was made and who were involved in the making of the Constitution and what kind of method they have adopted, election method they have adopted to elect the framers of the Constitution. So today's topic is how was the Indian Constitution made? So Indian Constitution was formally made by a group known as Constituent Assembly. Right? Now what is Constituent Assembly? Now, Constituent Assembly is a group of people who were elected for the purpose of framing, making and drafting of the Indian Constitution. Okay? So, people who were involved in the Constituent Assembly were some of the prominent leaders of the India, and they have contributed a lot during their freedom struggle. And not only that, they also have a lot of experiences, deep experiences about the Constitution and knowledge, experience as well as a knowledge about the Constitution. So in short, we can say that these are some of the leaders who were already very popular among the people. Okay, but despite of their popularity, they also had to go through a democratic process to get elected as a members of Constituent Assembly. So which means they also have to go through an election to get elected as a members of the Constituent Assembly, even though they were very popular among the people. So in order to elect the members of the Constituent Assembly, they decided to hold their first election in July 1946, that is year before their independence. Okay, so despite they were not independent, still they decided to hold, India decided to form or establish their Constituent Assembly, and which will eventually going to make a constitution for India. Okay, so in this election they adopted one of the most common election method, that is indirect election, and there's another election method that is known as direct election. So basically we have a two method of election, indirect and direct election. Okay, so what is indirect election? Now indirect election is a process election method in which there's no direct involvement of the people to choose their representative. Alright, so whereas direct election, people will involve directly to elect their representative. Okay, so it is mostly used in electing a president of India and MLAs. All right. So so far we came to know that the members of the Constituent Assembly were elected through indirect election method. Okay. So that means there should be someone between people and the Constituent Assembly who were elected by the representative, the other representative. Okay. So there's a people and members of the Constituent Assembly. Now those members who were elected directly by the people are known as Provincial Legislative Assembly. Now these are the members who were elected directly by the people. Okay, and these representatives who were elected by directly by people had elected the members of the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so thus it is a indirect election method. Now, who are the Provincial Legislative Assembly members? Now, in order to understand the Provincial Legislative Assembly members, let's try to in short, provincial legislative assembly members, we have to understand the nature of the British rule prior to the 1947, the independent, right? So during the British rule, India was basically divided into, the regions of the India were divided into two categories. The first one is known as princely states, and the second one is known as British India provinces. Okay, British India provinces. Now, the princely states are those regions where there's a rule of a king, and as compared to the British India provinces, princely state enjoys a certain amount of autonomy within their region, but still they were under the British rule. So this system is known as suzerainty, right? And the British India provinces are those regions which falls directly under the control of British government. Okay, so the members who were elected from the British India provinces for the legislative purpose in their region by the people are known as provincial legislative assembly, and they elected members of the Constituent Assembly. Okay, all right, now okay, now we were going to discuss why I've written undivided India. So initially when election was held, so the members of the Constituent Assembly were elected from both the regions of now India and Pakistan. Okay, so during that time the event of the partition was yet to occur. So the members were elected from both the regions, which now falls under Pakistan as well. Okay. So therefore, the members of the Constituent Assembly were elected initially from undivided India. Okay, and once they have elected their members of Constituent Assembly, they decided to hold their first meeting in 9th of December 1946. That is, which means they took almost a 5 month, almost a 5 month to elect their members of the Constituent Assembly, and they had to reassemble. Later on, they had to reassemble in 14th of August 1947, since this is the period where the partition was already occurred between Pakistan and India. So the members who were elected from Pakistan, initially the members who were elected from the Pakistan region ceased to be a member of the Constituent Assembly of India. Obviously, right? Since they were no longer a part of India, members who were elected from the regions of the Pakistan no longer members of Constituent Assembly of India. Okay, so they had to reassemble. So these are some of the plans which were suggested by the British Cabinet Mission, who were there to facilitate or help in India to frame their constitution. Okay, so they successfully, and there are some other plans which were suggested by British Cabinet, and most of these plans were executed on the basis of Government of India Act 1935. Now this is one of the most important act which helped the India during those period, since they didn't have any constitution, since they were in the process of making their constitution, so they needed some law in order to maintain a peace and avoid a chaos in a country. So Government of India Act 1935 acted as a interim constitution. That means the constitution, it acted as a constitution for a while, until they make their own constitution. So eventually they made their constitution and implemented in 1950 January of 26, right?